All right, good morning, everyone. You can go ahead and take your seats. We'll get things started. We'll take a couple minutes for lunch, and then we'll dive into our program. Hey, good morning, and welcome to the 34th Annual MEDCO Business Luncheon. My name is Nick Glue. It's been great to visit with many of you, most of whom that we know, and we're very thankful to have you here. I have the privilege of leading our great team at MEDCO and serving all of you really as an advocate for the great things that you accomplish each and every day. I'd like to formally call this annual business meeting to order. Now, if you've attended this luncheon in recent years, you know that we like to keep you a little bit on your toes. We like to say that this isn't your typical sit and get chicken dinner. So we can start by saying, yay, we're not having chicken for lunch, right? Each year we like to inspire, engage, and challenge you to be a part of the great programs and strategies that we've developed in this community. This year's no different. While we might not surprise you with an impromptu play or drama like we did last year, we do have several exciting people to introduce you to and a major announcement that we've been working towards over the past 12 months. So we want to begin first by thanking our presenting sponsor, and that again is Alliant Energy. They are strong economic allies, and we thank them for their long-term partnership with this luncheon. So thank you to Alliant and the Alliant team here with us today. Now, underneath, let's see, where's Mary at? Underneath somebody's plate, you will find a business card that probably has Alliant's name on it. If that is you, don't dump your food on your head. This looks scary. If that is you, there is a little prize, a package for you back at the Alliant table after the event. Who found that card? It's the one empty seat, right? Who found, in the back? No? Where'd you guys put it? It's over here. Oh, there we go. It was a student. Great, congratulations. So you can pick up a little prize in the back before you leave. We'd also like to thank a series of supporting sponsors. You can see them listed on the screens behind me. They include Freund Vector Corporation, Shive Hattery, the ESCO Group, Rachi Construction, and the new Town Place Suites by Marriott that we are extremely excited to welcome to our community beginning May 31st. So on your table, you'll find a little treat from the Town Place Suites. Let's thank all of these supporting sponsors here today. We also want to thank John Lohman and his team at the Corridor Business Journal. This is the 5th consecutive year that the CBJ has sponsored the MEDCO Innovator of the Year Award. And this year we'll continue our tradition of introducing you to two of our partners who have stepped far outside the box in delivering an innovative approach to skills training. So John, thank you for your continued support. Thank you to the CBJ. A couple more rounds of applause here. We'd like to recognize our Marion elected officials. We have many city staff with us. We have administrators and teachers from our school districts, from our neighboring communities, from our economic development partners across the region. Hey, if you fit that group, will you stand so that we can recognize you and thank you for your service to this community and to our region. Finally, we want to recognize some special guests, and they're scattered throughout the room. This, too, has become somewhat of a tradition for us as we seek to encourage and invest in your future workforce. So if you are a student with us today, will you please stand? We're going to have the opportunity to meet several of these students throughout the morning, but if you're a student with us, please stand and let us recognize you and thank you for being here. So we're going to begin our formal program in just a couple of minutes, so please enjoy your lunch, enjoy the opportunity to network, and we'll be right back. Thanks again for being here. All right. Please continue to enjoy your lunch. We're just going to start our program, so keep eating and we'll have fun together. Hey, I'd like to start by first introducing and giving my sincerest thanks to our MEDCO team. Emily Russ is our business engagement specialist. You'll hear from her in just a moment. And Michelle Klein is our executive assistant working in the back controlling slides. Without those two, this would not be possible today, so let's thank them. All right, you can change the slide, Michelle. I know you hate that slide. Thank you. Hey, success is not achieved when we work on our own, right? Success happens through relationships and partnerships. That's in your business, that's in your home, that's across our entire community. For MEDCO, our success comes from the hard work of everyone in this room. It is not a result exclusive of the dollars that we invest in programs. It does not happen just because we sell a piece of property in the Marion Enterprise Center. And it doesn't happen just because we have a workforce program like Community Promise. Our success is really a reflection of each of you. Our exceptional business environment exists only because of the hard work that your employees complete each and every day and because of your investment in our community. I want to specifically thank our MEDCO investors. In 2018, we achieved 99% investor retention while adding 12 new investment partners. Today, we have 148 business investors, and we thank each and every one of you for your financial support. Thank you. The Marion Economic Development Corporation exists to be economic development thought leaders who drive competitive advantage for Marion. We serve as the catalyst of economic development in our community. These updated foundational statements are the results of fresh strategic planning that our board of directors completed at the end of 2018. Every MEDCO board meeting begins by a member reciting this playbook that guides everything we do. Could I ask that our MEDCO board members please stand to be recognized? These are the individuals that attend about a dozen early morning meetings each year, provide us with great strategic leadership, and are always our go-to business leaders in our community. Thank you to our MEDCO board. So at this time, we'd like to recognize two individuals who have made significant contributions to our community through their service to the board. And at the end of 2018, their terms ended. MEDCO's current board chair is Sherry Monahan, and Sherry is going to join me on stage to help with this recognition. Our first board member is actually unable to join us today, and that is Ray Brown. Ray is CEO at the ESCO Group, and he's served on our board since January of 2009. He's filled many key leadership roles, including MEDCO board chair and chair of the MEDCO Holding Company. My personal thanks really goes to Ray, as he was just beginning his term as board chair when I joined the organization back in 2014. A great leader, many of you know him, and we thank Ray for his service. Our next board member that we'd like to invite up is Alan Prouse. Alan has served on the MEDCO board since 2010. And what Alan doesn't know is that our luncheon today is actually going to double as a retirement party for him. Why not? Alan just recently retired from Collins Aerospace, where he served as vice president and managing director of their Americas International Division. Now, Alan is a very well-traveled individual, and on several occasions, Alan would say, "Nick, I love serving on this board, but I feel bad that I miss quite a few meetings because I'm traveling." Alan, however, was always at the table for our most critical planning sessions. He always challenged us to be smarter as we developed our playbook, and he brought so many best practices through the table through his professional experiences at Collins Aerospace. Please join me in thanking Alan Prouse for his service. Finally, we need to thank someone who, we're not letting him off the hook. He's not totally leaving the board, but recently completed 2 years serving as our board chair, and that's Lee Eilers. Lee is president and CEO of Marion Process Solutions, and for any of you who have spent time around Lee, you know that his encouragement, his leadership, his professionalism, his motivation, vision, energy, it's all highly contagious. Really through monthly coffee chats, executive committee meetings, board meetings, and just he's done such a great job always being someone that would just check in simply by email. How are things going? How can I help you? Lee has become really a great mentor to me and probably to several of you in this room. So please join me as we welcome up Lee Eilers with Marion Process Solutions.
Nick gave me 45 minutes here to just touch on a few things, so appreciate that, Nick. Seriously, though, before I share some things that Nick had asked me to touch on, I just want to have all of us, as we get our game faces on for the game tomorrow night, give you a chance to kind of ponder, and I'd like you to think about which of these mascots most accurately reflects the institution, their institution of higher learning, and their spirit of competition. And I'm gonna try to be, in fact I will be, as unbiased as I possibly can as I introduce these two mascots, okay? So on the left is the steely-eyed, handsome, majestic warrior, clad in black and gold, ready to battle any and all opponents who may be so unfortunate to fall prey to its superior skills. And the mascot on the right is that football-headed rodent trying to sport a popcorn box for a turtleneck. And I've had a chance to ponder this, and I would tell you, I think they both nailed it. I truly do. So here's to you, Bucky. Get a new wardrobe. You're embarrassing yourself. Moving on. What's the value that NPS has brought, that MEDCO has brought to Marion Process Solutions? And I would tell you it's numerous. But the biggest one is that MEDCO has brought to Marion Process Solutions a competitive advantage. A competitive advantage. And we as a company, that's our motto. We exist to create a competitive advantage for our customers. Over time, if we don't do that, we will become irrelevant to our customers. And I would challenge you to all think about that in your businesses. Do you provide a competitive advantage? A great on-the-ground example is the new Marriott going up right by Barnes Manufacturing. That's right down the street from our facility. We just invested a lot of money in a test lab that we have at least 1 to 2 visitors from across the globe of different companies per week that visit us. And to have that hotel right by our facility provides that better customer experience that gives us that advantage. And MEDCO was a huge part of that. And they're a huge part of attracting and wooing quality businesses to plant their flag here in Marion. And we're very grateful for that. Why did I say yes to joining the board? That's easy. Nick Lou, a man with just incredible passion and talent and heart. The opportunity to get to hang around Emily and Michelle and the rest of this board. Every month I go there, I'm humbled at the privilege to get to hang around those phenomenal people. And they raise my game every time I'm at that meeting. I look forward to going to those meetings every month. If you ever have an opportunity to sit on this board, I would highly encourage you to do that. It's a wonderful experience and a great way to serve this precious community. Lastly, what have I learned? I've learned the power that happens when talents and passion converge. I'm not sure we all realize the level of talent that we have in this city. Business leaders, but just as importantly, city leaders. Mayor Nick Aboasili, Lon Pluckin, Jill Ackerman, Nick and team, Police Chief McHale, Fire Chief Crable. our superintendents of the schools, Chris Dyer and Shannon Biscard. And I would say this too, our city council in Marion is best in class. Their hearts, their servant attitudes, and the attitude they have around serving you for the best interest of this city is the best you're going to get. And it is absolutely spectacular. And we're grateful that you volunteer your time. Last one I just want to mention here too is what I kind of like to call new up-and-comer leaders like Zach Bohannon. A leader of character and capability that's brought this YMCA project to a new level. And I would say too that the power that happens when a community invests for the next generation. There they are. There's the generation that's going to be sitting here in 2040. There's the group of people that are going to be leading this city. And when this city continues to invest in that next generation, nothing but good things happen. It's a beautiful thing to be a part of. And I would tell you that Prospect Meadows, the YMCA, you know, the old saying, the best anti-drug for a kid is a ball. It's to keep them busy, to keep them aspiring toward greater things as their lives continue to progress. And I would ask you to create more and more memories and stronger relationships for these kids through an investment in that YMCA. It's one of the best investments that you can make. And if you have yet to do that, I would ask you to think about what that check will be. And as you're thinking about it, think bigger. This is a 10, 20, 30-year investment that you're going to create memories for those kids that will last a lifetime. And the relationships that will walk out of there as they leave that YMCA will be some that they will cherish forever. So thank you in advance for doing that. Last thing I'll just say as I close is, you know, what is the story going to be in 2040 when this group of talented young people are sitting in your chairs? What is the story that they're going to be able to tell? And my challenge is, will it be a story that's filled with heart, with passion, with drive, with some risk, frankly, and some luck? And is it going to have a vision that will inspire people to want to come to Marion and live here and raise their families? I would tell you that I know that's going to happen in 2040, and I can tell you that it's a rich journey as we look forward, and we have something really strong to look forward to. And I would also say that this is a journey that we can go on, that next generation, when they tell that story, they will tell it with pride, with enthusiasm, and with gratitude. So here we go, Marion. Let's write the story that's epic. Shall we? Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. So each luncheon is our opportunity to really share with you the tangible results of the work that we do. So in the next few minutes, we're going to do that. But we also need to stay focused on our future, the next chapter of how we lead and create competitive advantage for you and for this great community. So we're excited to make a big announcement, but before we leave here today. But first, let's talk about the past 12 months. Let's reflect a little. So in 2018, MEDCO had the privilege to partner with 39 unique companies who considered expansion and growth in Marion. Now, in economic development, most of you know that you don't win them all. We're not going to get all of those projects. They're not all going to happen here. However, in 2018, our projects resulted in $51 million of new capital investment that will eventually create and retain 542 jobs. Within this project portfolio includes companies like Speedy Delivery Service and their new package distribution terminal that was just finished out in the Marion Enterprise Center. If you don't know, Speedy is really a Midwestern company. It was founded in 1978 by a gentleman named Don Weirs. He was a 37-year-old farm boy at the time, and a few months ago, I had the opportunity to sit down and visit with Don at their corporate headquarters in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Today, that company has flourished in big ways, and they deliver more than 70,000 of your packages every day, partially utilizing their newest state-of-the-art facility here in Marion. This year, as Mr. Eilers mentioned, Marion Process Solutions completed their new test facility adjacent to their corporate headquarters located on 3rd Avenue. Just recently announced, Syncback made a $2 million investment into a new corporate headquarters on our community's south side. This building, in case you don't notice it, it's the former Magid building, just off of South 11th Street. Now, you may not realize that Syncback was started by Jack Perry in a small uptown office building. It was actually the Murdoch building, and we're pleased to welcome them back home as they continue their growth. What does Syncback do? Do any of you watch the news in the morning through your computers online? That's how I watch the news in the morning. And there's a technology that allows that streaming to happen. And actually, when it goes to commercial, it says SBTV, Syncback TV. They're the technology that allows that type of streaming to happen. So a great technology story back here in Marion. Freund Vector Corporation is now investing in new laboratory space for its global pharmaceutical companies who work in our community every day. We thank them for that investment. And Timberline Manufacturing is now in the middle of constructing a new 85,000 square foot facility right along Blair's Ferry Road. It's a $13 million investment, and Timberline now employs more than 270 people here in Marion. So we know that our primary employers continue to thrive, and we're pleased to have supported these and other great projects in 2018. This is by no means a complete list. Each year, it's important that we pause, because we need to say thank you to each of you, whether you're mentioned or not, for reinvesting in your business here in Marion. Thank you. So I'm a firm believer that when it comes to new capital investment, this community is just getting started. The companies that we just mentioned only scratch the surface. These images that you're now seeing represent other planned projects that are either under construction today or soon to be in 2019. Consider this. Throughout all of 2018, our business development pipeline had a monthly average of 19 active prospects considering $133 million of new investment. That was the average throughout the year. This is a pipeline that represents momentum and opportunity as we continue our work to make Marion the best location possible for these projects to happen. Development aside, this year also brought new progress in how we support our entrepreneurs and how we support our local startups. We launched a new network called Loft Startup Exchange. Through that network, and within our Loft co-working space, which we opened in 2017, we actually welcomed 12 new entrepreneurs to this network. We believe that small business ecosystems thrive when people have access to networks. So each month, we host meetups and invite established business professionals to come in and share their journey and their insight with those who are pursuing a new business endeavor in our community. Hey, all of these accomplishments, statistics, and much, much more beyond what we're going to talk about here today are summarized in our newly published annual report, and we hope as you leave here today that you'll grab a copy. We'll have those available by the doors. But perhaps the biggest accomplishment that we are proud of, that I'm proud of, is this. I'm often asked, Nick, what is the favorite part of your job? What do you like doing most? And my answer is really forming relationships with the companies that make our community shine. In 2018, we completed 179 business visits. The work we do is based on understanding the needs and opportunities that we hear from you. If we're not sitting down with you, we don't know what those needs are. Thanks to all of you for a successful 2018. At this time, I'd like to welcome up our current board chair, Sherry Monahan, and Sherry is with Central Iowa Power Cooperative. Please join me in welcoming Sherry.
Well, good afternoon. I'm MEDCO Board Chair Sherry Monahan. 2019 marks the final year of MEDCO's 5-year capital campaign. Our business partners will recall in 2014, we asked you to pledge your financial commitment to support the MEDCO team and the work we lead. The results from this are very impressive. For every $1 invested in MEDCO, we supported $181 of private capital investment. This is an 89% increase. The MEDCO team supported the creation of 625 jobs in the community. We realized $174 million of new construction just from projects that MEDCO influenced. During the 5-year period, the number of companies investing in MEDCO increased by 22%. Our staff held more than 522 meetings to stay in tune with the needs of MEDCO partners. And as Nick mentioned on your way out, we encourage you to pick up the 2018 annual report to provide more of a 5-year review. But as we reflect on 5 years, our confidence is high that the next chapter is even stronger. Today, we unveil a new investment structure for your business to continue its partnership with MEDCO. We are leading to the future by moving away from the typical 5-year funding commitment. We want to be transparent and constant in maintaining strong relationships with you, our partners, year over year. We don't ever want you to think that our team is only meeting with you for financial support every 5 years. We want you to be equally engaged in accomplishing the goals with us as a partner through our new Advantage Marion investment campaign. This campaign establishes new annual benchmarks to measure the effectiveness of your financial partnerships. Through Advantage Marion, we will work to realize $50 million of new private investment each year. We will be the catalyst supporting 100 new jobs annually. We will invest resources in new talent to help us maintain strong relationships with you in a growing business community. And I know the board's heard me say this, but we're going to start acting our size. We will focus on business retention and expansion by completing more than 100 existing industry visits per year. We will aggressively market the unique assets of our community to target industries. And we will continue to grow Community Promise to be a national leader in creating a talent pipeline that is a competitive advantage for Marion. In 2019, we'll launch modified partnership levels that provide new clarity and new ways to be engaged in our work. In the months to come, our board and staff will visit with each of you to better define your partnership in the years ahead. Earlier this month, the board also approved a new plan designed to focus increased dollars towards Community Promise. Today you'll see and experience a great work of this program, but this effort takes dollars, as everything does. Beginning with investor invoices mailed April 1st, each of you will have the opportunity to increase your financial partnership by 10%. This 10% will exclusively support the activities of Community Promise, and I sincerely hope you will consider doing so. The invoices you will receive will always treat this as a voluntary contribution. Please know that as a board, we did not take this request lightly. However, we firmly believe that Community Promise positions our community as leaders in building talent for your future. So the Advantage Marion investment campaign is how we, together as business partners, invest in the next chapter of MEDCO. And you heard Lee say, we're not writing a short story here, we're writing an epic novel. So thank you for being partners with us as we create competitive advantage for Marion. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. So we talk a lot about workforce and talent. We regularly use this event to do so, if you've been here in prior years. That's because you continue to tell us that it's your number one challenge as you grow this company, as you grow your companies. So take a look at this slide. I want to be more specific. Here's what you said when we asked you the question at the end of 2018, what's your biggest challenge as a company? This obviously is not all the responses, but as you read them, you can see that the dominating response is related to talent. So we're going to keep talking about this topic and give you an idea how you can approach it in a new way. Today we're honored to welcome Andrea Olson. Andrea comes to us from the Quad Cities area. Her 20-year background provides unique, applicable approaches to creating more customer-centric organizations. A 4-time Addy Award winner, she began her career at a tech startup and led the strategic marketing and sales efforts for 2 global manufacturers. Andrea is the CEO of Pragmatic. She's also authored 2 books, published over 200 articles on business strategy, customer intelligence, employee engagement, and talent attraction. Will you please join me in welcoming Andrea?
All right, well, thank you everyone for being here. Nick really made me sound pretty good, so I appreciate that. You know, talent, attraction, and retention, as Nick had mentioned, is top of mind for everyone. Every organization, every city that I speak at, they always say, how do we attract and retain talent? And we look at ways where we can find solutions to this talent attraction and retention problem. So the first place you go is Google. And there's over 6 million results in regards to attracting and retaining talent. Where do you start? You look at best practices, you phone a friend, you do whatever you can do. But I beg to differ. I say, why don't we look at attraction and retention in a different way? It's not that clinical. It's personal. It's close. You know what it is? It's courting. It's dating. That's what we're doing today in a very employee-driven economy where people have choices, where people are more fickle. They have higher demands. So as an employer, you are taking your prospective employees on a date. You have to sell yourself in a way like you would to a stranger that you meet on your first date. Do you start off by talking about yourself, how fantastic you are, all of your best accomplishments? Or do you start by listening to them and what they need and what they care about and understanding what motivates them? So it is the new dating game. It is. The employee is now on the right, and the employers are on the left, and they're making decisions about you. So if we're looking at it from a dating perspective, how can we move along in a way where we have an effective strategy for our new employee courting, if you will? Well, the first thing, and there's 7 pieces to this, the first thing you have to think about is your competition, right? Who else are you competing with for this potential employee? And sometimes it's not the usual suspects. It's not just other people in your industry. I spoke with a manufacturer and they said, we are struggling with getting employees, and we have the most competitive pay in our area. We're at least $5 higher than the next guy down the street in this industry. And it's a clean facility and we're nice people. Why are they not coming? And we talked about it and we said, guess what? The new Costco opened up just a few months ago. And the Costco is paying $5 more than you. So your competition isn't just your sector, your industry, your geography. Your competition can come from all different areas. The second thing to consider is knowing what you want in an employee. Just like dating, you need to have an idea of what you're looking for in a mate or a partner. But take this example. These are two actors, Chris Pratt, Benedict Cumberbatch. Okay, so they're both actors, right? They both check the box of their skills and their background, but are they both right for the same role? They're not. They're both suited for very different roles, even though they're both actors. So when you think about hiring, you think about bringing an employee on board, it's not just having a project manager with a great pedigree or a CNC machinist. Are they the right fit for the role? What other skills and attributes do they need to have to be incredibly successful for you and the organization, and for them to be successful in the role? So not every resume, every individual is of the same color, even if they check the boxes in their background experience. Number 3, and there's certain industries who are very bad at this, is how do you present yourself? When you walk into your facility, is it 1975? Is your tech stack or ERP or any technology you use incredibly outdated? We had a company that said, we're having a hard time hiring younger employees. They were running an ERP system that was built before they were born, with the blue screen and the yellow text, and you got to tab through it. They didn't even know what it is. It was like seeing a pink elephant. And what does that say about your organization? Does that say you're moving into the future? Does that say you're going to be actually in existence in the next 10 years? Does it say that you know and keep up with what's going on in the market and in industry? It says you're mailing it in. It says, that's not important. Windows 98, good enough. That's fine. So that sends a message that's critically important and impacts your ability to recruit and retain talent. Number 4 is what you bring to the table. Again, we talked about that courting. What are you offering that potential employee that's going to be valuable to them? Is it upward mobility? Is it training? Is it coming to this conference? Is it exciting things that help them grow, not only from a skill set perspective, but as an individual? How do you sell those things to prospective employees? Is your job description very tactical? You have to do this laundry list of things and other duties as assigned, right? We all know what that means. Or do you say, this is why it's amazing to work here. These are the challenges you're going to see and face and do, and you're going to accomplish something that maybe is greater than you, that contributes back to the community. Just because you know you're awesome doesn't mean that your prospective employee knows that. You have to sell yourself, just like if you were on a date. Number 5, where do you look? Where do you look for prospective employees, right? Do you go and post jobs on Indeed.com and ZipRecruiter.com and sit there and go, well, they're just not coming in. Maybe I just need to post it again. Maybe I need to change the job title. That's what I'm going to do. Or are you going to where they are? Are you going to local colleges? Are you working with your chamber? Where do these people congregate? If you're looking for engineers, what do they do? Where do they go? Go there. Meet them where they are instead of expecting them to come to you. It's like sitting at a bar by yourself going, well, I'm just waiting for someone to approach me. I'm going to wait it out. Instead of going to where the people are and talking and engaging. Number 6, and often overlooked, is your attitude and outlook. So here's the thing, and I'm going to be very frank. Does it suck to work for you? Is your culture or components of your culture awful? You might have a department where you go, we can't get anybody in here, but I wouldn't even want to work there myself. So how are you going to convince somebody of that? So you have to say, how can we look and examine our culture and make sure that we're fostering the right attitudes, that we're open to change, that the crotchety person that says, well, this is the way we've always done it, isn't sabotaging new employees because they're not embracing new ideas or new experiences or change. That a new employee might come on board and actually kind of be ostracized from the group because they're new and it's foreign and it's different, it's weird. So culture is critical. Is your culture sabotaging the investment you're making in trying to attract and retain talent? Number 7, and this I think is the easiest one, is showing you care. What do you do to give back to the community or causes or things around your organization that lift up all the people that live there, because the people that live there likely work for you? In addition, what about showing you care to employees? Flexible hours, family leave, bereavement leave. Showing that you care and understand that they have a life and a family, and that is part of the entire continuum of being an employee with your organization. You're not just a cog in a wheel. So, in short, you might think this is kind of weird because we're talking about dating. But as you can see, these 7 things really all go back to basic strategic approaches to attracting and retaining talent, from competitive intelligence to embracing change. So as you go through this process, start to think about how you're attracting talent in a different way. It is not systematic. It is very personal. It is how you approach and present yourself. And are you putting yourself on the market in a way that is attracting the right people? Are you looking for the right people in the right places? Because as the old adage says, there's always more fish in the sea. So keep that in mind as you move forward and bring the best and strongest talent here to Marion. Thank you.
What if?
What if?
What if?
What if my community invested in me, not just as a future employee, but as a future leader?
What if I didn't see my future here, but uncovered new pathways to reach my full potential?
What if my internship led to a job offer before I graduated from high school?
What if every student in our community was on a pathway to having education or training beyond high school?
What if my parents encouraged me to pursue my passion, not just check the college box?
What if we created an environment that built community loyalty and was contagious to talent recruitment?
What if Marion was a national leader in creating a talent pipeline that became a competitive advantage for the community?
That is the vision.
Empower.
Of Community Promise.
Good afternoon. I'm Emily Russ, and I serve as Business Engagement Specialist for MEDCO. Much of my time is dedicated to the development and growth of our local workforce strategy called Community Promise. Simply stated, Community Promise connects students with real careers in our community. The program is focused on introducing these students to your high-demand jobs. We have made great progress in raising the awareness and effectiveness of Community Promise. At the end of 2018, more than 60 local and regional businesses submitted over 100 job profiles to our database. Job profiles are high-demand careers where future talent is always being pursued. We promote these jobs weekly to your future workforce inside classrooms. Just last week, we presented to 11 freshman English classes at Linn-Mar High School. If you don't see your name on this list, we'll provide you the opportunity to change that in just a few minutes. In fact, we're in the middle of executing a plan where we spend classroom time in front of more than 1,000 students from Marion and Linn-Mar school districts, completing career assessments, mapping those results to local career pathways, and equipping students with tools to take steps in building relationships with you. Check this out.
We want to help to begin connecting you with these high-demand jobs that exist in our community that sometimes a lot of people don't realize exist, right? Which means if you find a career and you effectively prepare yourself for that career, there will be jobs available for you, and there will be jobs available here for you, okay?
Community Promise is a one-stop shop for students and parents to be able to go find careers in the Marion area. It helps them connect with businesses and resources in the area so that they know and understand what career and post-secondary opportunities that they have in the future. So Community Promise at Linn-Mar has helped fill a void in my profession where I'm working with students to find careers that might be viable options for the future. So I want them to know what careers are out there that they can actually pursue, how much money they might make, the benefits that they make. So before, when they're looking at career profiles on, a national site, that might not be an actual career that they will find in the area that they want to live. So if they want to live here, this gives them actual careers that they can really get in 5 to 10 years. And I hope that they do.
I think one of the key attributes of Community Promise is building on pulling in our local businesses and helping them connect with our students. I love Marion and the community itself because there's so many things to do for family, there's so many things to do for students, and I think just being able to have that exposure for our students and be able to grow in a safe area is just really a fantastic opportunity for our students and the families that surround it.
I think that students should pursue a career in Marion because the really nice thing about Marion is it feels kind of small town, but we have a lot of big city amenities around us. So I think it can give them that safe community feel while also providing so many opportunities that a lot of them aren't even aware of.
If you can get a student to have pride in themselves, to see direction, that's just an amazing feeling. And every single day that I get a chance to come in and work with kids to help them find that direction, to help them move forward and to reach their goals, is just the most rewarding thing possible. And I can think of a better opportunity and a better job to be able to do something like that.
You are the future leaders of our community. You are our future workforce. And know that there's a great group of companies and people that want to come alongside you to help you find that success here in our community.
Following each of these classroom visits, we're reaching out to the parents of these students by email and educating them about these same topics. Parents are an equally important group of influencers who need to understand that a four-year college degree isn't always the right fit for students passionate about some of our high-demand jobs. That's a difficult stereotype to change. So let me ask you this question, and I need you to pull out your smartphones. We want to know a little background about our audience today. So tell us this. What kind of post-secondary education did you complete? So we'll go ahead and open the poll. These are your choices. To respond, simply send a text message to the number on the screen, 319-774-1151. The body of your text message will just have the number associated with your response. So if you have a master's degree, simply text the number 1 to the phone number on the screen. Consider this. According to a 2018 report from Iowa's Area Education Agency, the state of Iowa has a 91% high school graduation rate. 71% of those graduates enroll in a post-secondary institution. But here's the gap. Only 51% of graduates actually completed a post-secondary credential within 6 years of graduating high school. Here's the message that we're sending to students. Today, 33% of jobs require a 4-year college degree. 57% requires some kind of specialized training beyond high school. The second category is what we refer to as high-demand jobs. These are also the jobs that can be the most difficult for students to understand and be inspired to pursue. We want to highlight one of our business partners who's engaged with Community Promise at a high level. Ryan Companies is leading the way with more job profiles listed on our site than any other business. They've been gracious hosts of Career Explorer clubs and are leaders in connecting students with their high-demand careers. So why do they do it? Dan Baxter is Director of Development for Ryan Companies. He's also a Marion resident and great champion for Community Promise. Please join me in welcoming Dan.
Good afternoon. As mentioned, my name is Dan Baxter. I'm the Director of Development with Ryan Companies. I recently relocated to the area from Des Moines in the fall of 2018. Along with my wife and my 3 children, I can say we are now proud residents of the city of Marion. Today, I'm going to give you my perspective on the Community Promise initiative. However, before I do, I'd like to take a moment to recognize a group that's with us here today. This week is National Women in Construction Week. And today I'm honored to be accompanied by some of the best in the business. To my Ryan Companies colleagues with us here today and other women in the room that are in the construction industry, I'd like to extend a heartfelt thank you for all you do for Ryan Companies and the construction industry. Please join me in a round of applause. In the construction and real estate industry, we continue to see a decline in the availability of workforce in every position, from skilled trades to field management to project administration to project management. In addition to the many that left the industry during the last recession and never ever returned to the industry, the aging workforce is reaching a retirement age, creating some real challenges for us over the next decade. The key to continuing the strength of an industry that has topped $650 billion in 2018 is to generate interest and excitement through early exposure and painting a clear picture of the opportunities that exist for our young people. That is why I am so excited to support MEDCO and their Community Promise. What better way to promote opportunity than to connect students with real careers? At Ryan Companies, we have such a diversity of positions and opportunities, it's often difficult to find a showcase that puts them all on the stage at the same time. The Community Promise provides that opportunity for us. As a father of 3, I'm even more excited about the Community Promise from the eyes of our future leaders than from any business perspective. So I'd like to take a moment and address directly to the students that are here with us today and say, the Community Promise is about you. It's not about us. The Community Promise is about the opportunity for you to gain experience and perspective now, to help you make decisions about your future. It allows you to test your skills and interests before having to make a commitment. It allows you to expose yourself to those areas that you didn't even know existed. Maybe you have skills in those fields that you were not aware of. It allows you to decide whether you want to enter the workforce or go to college. It allows you the unique chance to lean upon the perspective and experience of people that were once in your shoes, trying to decide what to do with the rest of their lives. Please embrace it. And finally, I'll leave you all with a few parting thoughts. To the businesses that have supported the Community Promise by participating in Career Explorers, Brunch with Boss, career fairs, job shadows, internships, workforce events, mentorships, or simply by posting job profiles, thank you for supporting Marion and our future leaders. To those that haven't yet taken the advantage of the opportunity, please do so. And to the students in the room, I encourage you to look at those postings, talk with your school counselors and the MEDCO staff, and participate best as you can. Your participation now will pay dividends for you in the future. And since I grew up in a hockey family, and apparently hockey weather is never going to leave us, I leave our future leaders in the room with the most famous quote that I absolutely love by the late Herb Brooks, who was the coach of the 1980 Olympic hockey team. This is your time. Go out there and take it. Thank you to all of you for your time today, and thank you for MEDCO for providing opportunities for our future leaders to get a head start on life. Thank you.
So at this time, if I could ask Brianna and if Stacy's here to join us, if you could come up to the stage real quick, because we want to introduce you to a couple folks, and we also want to talk about their participation in a program that we launched in 2018. Here they come. Just have them take a seat here with me. So in 2018, we started a program that's called Brunch with the Boss. And we were very fortunate to have Fairway in our community be our brunch sponsors. The concept is very, very simple. The program's open to students who are sophomores through seniors at both of the school districts in our community. They tell us a little bit about their career interests. Every quarter, we randomly draw a few participants to be a part of the program, and then we coordinate an informal brunch meeting with an executive in the field that these students tell us they're interested in. So, this is Taylor. Taylor Streff is a senior at Linmar and a recent participant in Brunch with the Boss. And then also joining us is the boss that she met, and this is Stacy Barrett. Stacy works for Unity Point as their Vice President of Clinic Operations. So thank you to both of you for joining us here today. So Taylor, we'll start with you. Reflect a little bit on your experience and really why you chose to participate to begin with. What caught your attention?
First of all, my name is Brianna.
How much do we like the confidence of that, right? I got nothing to say. We're going to meet the other gal in a minute. So, answer that question. Tell us a little bit about your experience.
So pretty much, okay, so I'm a junior at Marion, and yeah, close enough.
It'll all make sense in a few minutes, folks.
So 4 years ago, my grandma had cancer, and I had to help my mom with like taking care of her. And at that point, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, going out into, jobs and stuff. And after helping, I realized that the medical field was kind of what I wanted to go into, but I wasn't sure like how to start or anything. I had been applying for classes for my junior year, and I had come across the HSP class that was being held at the high school. And I was soon really interested because I was like, oh, that sounds like something that I should do.
That's health service provider, right?
Health support professional.
Support professional.
Yes.
See, don't ask me questions too difficult. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I'm getting you the clarity, folks.
So I had considered taking a CNA class at Kirkwood because, that would help get me to what I wanted to be. But it's at the regional center, which is in Hiawatha, so I'd have to drive there every day, which is a lot of gas money. And I'm not rich. So, but I also was in charge of taking my brother to and from school, so like, he would have been upset, and yeah. So when I found out that we were offering this class at my school, I was like all for it. I was like, I'm gonna sign up. So I just actually finished the last class yesterday. But after being in the class for about 4 months, we had an assembly talking about job shadows. And in previous years, I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna do a job shadow. That just sounds so boring. But I signed up for one, and I actually really enjoyed it. I went to the University of Iowa, and it was really cool. We got to see like the craziest things. And then about 2 weeks later, I got an email asking if I wanted to do an internship. And I was like, oh, that sounds crazy. Like, I'm not gonna do an internship. But I signed up like a week later. I was like, okay, I will do it. So I got in. So yay. I'm currently still in my internship. It's at St. Luke's. So if you go to St. Luke's, you can see me. Hopefully you don't have to go, but yeah, so I've been pretty much everywhere, and it's been really cool. And it's pretty much all thanks to my class I'm taking, because without taking that class, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. Pretty much, I'm set on going to a 4-year college now. I'm looking at Luther, so if there's anyone who's been to Luther, yeah. And I plan on getting my BSN and maybe even getting my master's. So, yeah.
Great. So you met with Stacy, and tell me a little bit about.
I met with Taylor.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm just going to stop using anybody's name, period, okay? Tell me about the interaction that you had. I think you're a busy professional, but we're trying to encourage folks to take time out of their busy schedules to invest in future career awareness. She was trying to learn some things that maybe she didn't know. Reflect on that experience from the professional's perspective.
Sure. I really enjoyed my time with meeting with Taylor for a few reasons. One, I'm mostly within physician practice management. I think it's really important for students to understand that there are pathways into healthcare industry for those that have more of an interest in business. It's very easy to see if you want to be a nurse or you have a clinical interest and want to go on to become a provider, a physician, or an advanced practitioner. But there are lots of opportunities for those that have an interest in business to be able to and be involved in healthcare. And so that was really why I wanted to be engaged in this project.
I'm going to ask you one last question. What did you learn through the experience? Sometimes we have interactions like this and we learn that maybe what we thought wasn't true, or maybe that conversation makes us think about something else. What did you learn through your dialogue?
Probably, well, first of all, I didn't even know I wanted to be a nurse. And then I took that class and I was like, oh, this is fun. I guess I really learned what it's like out in the field. Like, I didn't know. It's like I've never had, well, now I have a job, but I didn't before, and I was like, I'm not sure what it's like or like what it's going to be like out there, but it's really helped, and I've learned a lot.
The conversations that you had, what did you learn as a business professional?
I walked away with a lot of hope for the future. I was very impressed with how Taylor was thinking about what she wanted to do in the future and thinking about it at such an early part of her career as a student. But it also helped to remind me of the joy of why I do what I do, kind of walking through how I got to the position I'm at now and why am I there every day? What is it that really is driving me to be in healthcare? And so that was a great opportunity to remind me of those things.
Thanks to you for investing in Brunch with the Boss. Thanks for your work and your pursuit towards healthcare careers in our community. Let's thank them for helping us out here today. So, folks, I think I actually figured out what was happening through that. So Stacy met with a student named Taylor, who's in her seat right now. This is Brianna, who we are also going to hear from regarding healthcare. The seats just got switched. So you kind of heard both stories, right? So Brianna is participating in a program that happens right in the walls of Marion High School. We're going to talk about that in a minute, okay? Stacy helped out with our Brunch with the Boss program, and maybe in a minute we'll bring Taylor up to reflect on that on her own, okay? So anyway, I'm really glad I at least figured out in my mind what was happening there, okay? So hey, we want to ask our audience a couple more questions, okay? We'll give you some time to look at these results. So if you could pull out your phones again, and Michelle, let's go ahead and activate our poll number 2. We need more business partners willing to help us out with this program called Brunch with the Boss. So when we have students saying, I want to participate, here's the career that I'm interested in, we need a larger database of business professionals to help us out with that. So our next question asks this. Simply, will you participate in Brunch with the Boss? To do that, please text your name. Your name is all we need, okay? So we do know your cell phone numbers eventually. Anyway, if you could help us to grow this database of business partners that are helping us out, please text your name and we will follow up with you. We draw names every quarter to get students connected with you. So thank you so much for your response. Know that you are in this growing database of business professionals, and we will come to you with students interested in pursuing this career. All right. Well, that went off without a hitch, so we're excited about that. Okay, how about this question? Next question, we're going to close this poll. We're going to move on to another one here. This question is, how did you get your first job? How did you get your first job? We'll move to that next question here. This is all live, folks, so we just stay flexible, right? We have that question, folks, or should we just move on? Keep moving? Okay. All right, so the question that we want to ask is, how'd you get your first job? Was it based on a relationship that you had? Was it based on work that you had done to prepare yourself for that career? What we wanted you to see is the importance of you now as working professionals investing in helping students to pursue those jobs. We got one more question. Should we move on, folks? We're going to move on. Okay. We'll be flexible. We're going to move on to our Innovator of the Year presentation. So for the fourth consecutive year, MEDCO is partnering with the Corridor Business Journal to present our 2019 Innovator of the Year Award. This year, our theme of business and education partnerships continues. To present our award, we want to welcome up to the platform John Lohman. He's publisher and president of the Corridor Business Journal. Please welcome John.
The Corridor Business Journal is again proud to sponsor the Innovator of the Year Award. We write about innovation and innovators every day in our daily email newsletters or each week in the print CBJ, but somehow we missed this innovative collaboration. This past December, Chad Zaruski, the associate principal at Marion High School, sent an email to Nick Glue. The school had identified a group of students who were interested in pursuing welding that would be taught at Marion High School. As was typical, they were working through the Industrial Technologies Department at Kirkwood for program and curriculum support. The last-minute problem was that they didn't have a welding professional to teach the class. We all know that welding is considered a high-demand career, so denying the students the opportunity to receive this training would have been a huge opportunity lost. The need was communicated to MEDCO business partners who employed welders. Marion High School wasn't in need of a certified teacher. That oversight piece was already in place. They needed a professional who could teach the art of welding. Within the week, Kevin Hupp, president of Hupp Electric Motors, indicated that they had an employee interested in the opportunity. His name was Chris, a longtime employee at Hupp. Fast forward to today, and plans are in place for Chris to teach welding beginning April 8th. The 8-week class will meet 3 times a week, and in the end, these high school students will receive an Intro to Welding certificate from Kirkwood. This public-private partnership is a model for industry and education collaboration. Please join me in congratulating Hupp Electric Motors and Marion High School, the joint recipients of this year's Innovator of the Year Award, and receiving the award is Kevin Hupp and Marion High School Principal Greg Semler.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you very much, and quite an honor. And Brianna, I just want to say that I'm with you because everybody consistently confuses me with Chad Zarutsky. I'm not Chad Zarutsky. And then Nick told me that I had maybe a minute or so because he says I sometimes talk a lot, and so I said I'm going to really be careful. And he said, well, Lee's going to open with a contrasting thing with the Badgers and the Hawkeyes. And could you talk a little bit about defensive basketball principles since your school does so well at basketball? I said, no, I can't do that because I don't know anything about basketball defensive principles. So I can't help you there. But I will say that this is it's been a partnership that's been developed over the last few years. Nick and I have spent a lot of time prior to even this, the MEDCO piece becoming fully involved. And then with Emily's help and Tom Kepman, our high school counselor, we've really just been really excited about making sure that we create this opportunity for our students in the community, because we know a post-secondary training is critical, but sometimes we really lean in the direction of college, and that's important. It's valuable. It really is. But there are so many amazing careers and good jobs out there with really, really a professional edge that's extraordinary that you will not have to spend 4 years in a college classroom. And we really understand that and value that at Marion High School. And when Hub Electrics stepped up and said, we'll provide a welder for you, it's extraordinary. And so when I look behind me and I look at the key words on the board, experience, exposure, pursuit, I'm going to add one to it, or two to it, and that is persistence, because sometimes they're high school kids. They're not going to be perfect. They're not going to be always exactly what you expect immediately, but if you stick with it and you work with it, they're going to be good and they're really going to be helpful. So if that first initial meeting, that first initial contact doesn't work, stay after it, because that's the persistence that you have to have working with young people to make it successful. And we know it. We get to practice every day, and we're excited about that. The other thing is communication. We would not be here, our high school would not be in this position, because we're also doing a CNA program at our high school, and now the welding program at our high school. We would not be here if we didn't communicate, if we didn't talk to our community. And so we want our community to talk to us. So I'm very easy to find at the high school. You can email, you can certainly get a hold of Emily, get a hold of Nick, and we will make that connection. There is nothing that could be more exciting than the Community Promise in terms of making us be viable as a high school, helping our community grow. So I thank you very much.
All right, one of the things we talk to our kids about is being flexible, right? Being flexible in our day-to-day lives. This is like 7-year-old flexible, but we're going to be flexible today as adults. Taylor, would you come up and join me here on the stage? Okay, we're going to welcome Taylor back up. We are going to hear her perspective about her participation in Brunch with the Boss. We've got a couple minutes that we can do this. So again, Taylor is a Linn-Mar student, and she met with Stacy at Unity Point and participated in this program. So we're just going to do this. I'm just going to hand you a microphone. We're going to keep this casual, okay? Right. If there was one thing that may have helped me 15 years ago in a media career, it was thinking on my feet a little bit, okay? That's it. So tell us about your experience when you met Stacy, when you even responded through our website that you wanted to participate in this program. What were you hoping to get out of it?
Okay, so at the beginning of this year, it was the start of my senior year, and I was trying to figure out where I wanted to go to college and what I wanted to do. And I saw this ad at school for the Brunch with the Boss, and I thought, well, this sounds like a really great program. You know, you can go out and talk to business people in the area and see what you're interested in. So I decided, I might as well put my name in there and see what happens. And just a few weeks later, I got an email back from them, and they were saying yes, you've been picked to have Brunch with a Boss, and they told me I would be with Stacy. So I was very excited about that. And I was able to go down to Unity Point and meet with her one afternoon. And it was really great because I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to do something in healthcare. I wanted to be a doctor. But Stacy was talking to me more about the business side of it and the public policy, and something that I kind of had an interest in, but I wasn't exactly sure. And after I spoke with her, I decided that maybe I want to look more into that side of medicine. So I started doing some more research, and I really learned that you don't have to have a set plan. You don't have to know what you want to do, because I thought a lot about it, and now I think I want to do something more with public policy or like public health. And I think without actually getting the chance to meet with Stacy and to just have a nice conversation, I probably wouldn't have known that. So it was a really great experience.
Perfect. Thank you. Let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you very much. Very impressive youth that we've heard from today. So, we want to wrap up our conversation around workforce this morning with an exciting announcement regarding the next chapter of our Community Promise program. On July 23rd of 2018, the Marion Community Promise Foundation was officially incorporated. Over the past 6 months, a board of directors was formed, guidelines and processes developed, and as of today, students can now apply for pursuit grants at communitypromise.org. Grants of up to $4,000 are now available to fund advanced training needed by students to be qualified for a job with a local business partner. You are those local business partners. Our Community Promise is to be a national leader in creating an insulated talent pipeline, developing pipeline of talent from within our community that is a competitive advantage for Marion. This means investing in the youth who are here with us today in order to ensure that they connect with local businesses and pursue careers here at home. This is only the beginning. While MEDCO has provided seed funds to launch the foundation, in the months and years to come, we will work to create a longer-term, legacy-building funding stream to invest in your future talent. You can read full program details and see our student application right now. It's live as of this morning at communitypromise.org. So as we wrap up today, please know this. The next chapter is yours. It's your story on how you'll equip the next generation of talent through Community Promise. It's your story as to why we invest together in building an even stronger economic development organization. It's your story on how you'll approach talent attraction, dating game or not. On your table, you'll find a small bookmark. It might be buried under your napkin at this point. But we want you to take that as a reminder of today's challenge to you. One more thing, as you exit the room, take a moment to introduce yourself to one of our students. We're going to have them lined up at the doors as you exit. They will hand you a copy of our annual report. And we've asked them to tell just a brief story about them to you as you leave here today. How will you join us? And how will you join our community to create competitive advantage for Marion? It's your choice. It's your story. Let's make the next chapter exceptional. Thanks for joining us today. We are adjourned.